Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. And I wanted to start out by saying thank you to everyone that has subscribed. We're now over 5,000 subscribers. That is fantastic. I am thrilled beyond words. So thank you to everyone there. And we have a lot to talk about today. So the Bitcoin was down today. I forgot whether Ethereum was down today or not, but I know the markets were mixed a little bit today. The miners, for the most part, were up today, which was kind of nice to see. But then we have Core Scientific to talk about, their production update for June. We also have Cipher, DMG, Digihost, and I believe Stronghold as well. So Stronghold is going to be a little bit different one than we normally go over because I don't have all the data there. But we'll go over it a little bit anyways because there was a lot of people that requested it. So we're going to go over it. Okay, but as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research, and I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Okay, so let's take a look at the markets here, see what's going on there right now on that. If we look at it here, we can see here that, well, S&P was down 0.2%, Dow Jones was down 0.38%, NASDAQ was up actually today 0.44%, Bitcoin, however, was down 0.88%, and it closed at 30,499. We're kind of trading in this kind of sideways pattern here a little bit. The good thing is the RSI keeps going down, which leads me to believe that possibly we might be heading back up to our next support line, which is going to be right around the 32,200 mark, if we do end up getting a breakout on it. If this doesn't happen, we may actually go down further, meaning that we're going to probably, we're going to get support here probably at 20,600 or so. We'll see if that holds. If that doesn't hold, then we're going down to 23,819 possibly, if that happens, okay? Don't really know what's going to happen here, but we'll see. Okay, Ethereum, let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum was also down today. So Ethereum was down 1.36% to a close of 1,910. And it is also kind of trading right now in a flat zone, really. Our size come down a little bit here as well, so that's good on that. We'll see how this goes forward, okay? Now, as far as the miners are concerned, the miners had a pretty good day for the most part. A lot of them were up today, some were down today. Some were actually up even double digits during the day, and they closed a little bit lower towards the end of the day. So Any was down, was up 4.19%. Argo was down 5.12%. BitDigital was down 3.05%. BitDeer was up 2.61%. Bitfarms was up 1.23%. Cipher was up 8.07%. CleanSpark was up 8.62%. Cores was down 5%. Digihost was up 1.62%. DMG was up 6.2%. Greenidge was up 6.18%. Hive was up 2.99%. Hut 8 was up 3.98%. Iris Energy was up 3.53%. Marathon was up 1.57%. Mawson was up 5.15%. Riot was up 1.8%. Solana was actually down 9.52%. Stronghold had a great day today. It was up 16.27%. I think that might be because they actually did provide a, somewhat of a production update for June. So I'm wondering if that's kind of helped it out. But you can see here, it was basically bottomed out here in the last couple of days in the past year. Bottomed out roughly at about $3.78. That's like the bottom of it right now, even going back to last year. I mean, last year was at, after this reverse stock split, it was at $32.47. And we had a split happen here back on, when was this? This was May. So we had that reverse split happen at, not that one. 1 for 10 split Tuesday, the 16th of May. So that's when we had the split. That's why we're at the spot where we are right now. Okay. One thing I don't like is this huge increase in the RSI on the daily. That's a little concerning to me. We'll see where we end up at. It is much higher than we were back here. So this tells me that we might be coming down even more, potentially. Okay, so but we'll get into Stronghold as it is. TeraWolf was also up nicely today, 8.42%, and that's it. So let's take a look at the network hash rate, see where that's at right now. And if we refresh this, we can see here that on the 7-day average, we are currently at 359 million terahashes, and on the 1-day average, we went down the day before to 344 and then up to 390 again. But we're still trading sideways right now. The hash rate is basically acting sideways right now for the time being. Okay, so let's get into our first story that we do have here, which is going to be on Digihost. So Digihost provides their update and green initiatives, operational efficiencies, and sustainability. Main thing that we really want to talk about here is as far as what their mining was like in June. You guys can read over all the other stuff here as it is. So here's the monthly production highlights for June 2023. Mined approximately 70 BTC. Of that 70 BTC mined, approximately 54 were self-mined, with the remainder under JV hosting partnerships. So that's a tough one for I think I'm calculating or tracking the total amount. And we may have to do some adjustments to this going forward. If they provide the numbers where they're actually providing for the self-mined, I'll probably start using those going forward to get a much better number as far as their revenue is concerned. Production of BTC mined is expected to continue to ramp up over the remainder of the year as the company finalizes the infrastructure setup at its most recently acquired site. Infrastructure installation has been completed at the company's other 2 sites, so that's good news there. This is their how much they have as far as balance sheet. Let's see here. Consistent with management's ongoing commitment to avoid equity dilution for its shareholders, the company has continued to monetize a portion of its BTC production to fully fund its energy costs. Okay, but it would be nice to provide how much they sold. They didn't provide that. They didn't even provide how much they actually have on hand, what their HODL is right now. And the company did not purchase or sell any miners during the month. It's neither good nor bad there. Operational updates, there's nothing here. Yeah, I couldn't find anywhere as far as what their HODL position is, so I'm going by with what we had in the prior month, I believe. Okay, so let's take a look at Digihost really quick here as well. So Digihost, let's take a look at it here. 28.5 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $1.87. Market cap is 53 million. Current hash rate is 913. They're saying they're going to get to about 2 exahash, I believe. They are, well, I have it at 1.144 exahash. So we'll see how fast they can get to that. They have performed pretty well here in the last 8 weeks, 4 weeks, and 1 week. They are, however, down from 12 weeks ago. Let me see here. Bitcoin HODL, I have it at 19.28. As reported a while back. I don't know if that's going to change or not, but that's valued at about 593,000 right now as it is. BTC production, you can see obviously in May they had a pretty good run here at 77. June wasn't too bad. It was 70. It was higher than it was in April, which was good to see. But obviously we knew it was going to be down because the network transaction fees were really not affecting that as much in June as they were in May. Okay, monthly difference, you can see how far they were up and down throughout the months. BTC HODL, like I said, they were at 220 in July. They're down to about 19 as last reported, as I can figure probably from their April numbers. BTC per exahash is still pretty good, 76.67 for them, which is better than it's been in the past. BTC sold, I'm just basically whatever they report as being mined. I'm putting it down as sold because I don't have the numbers for the BTC HODL amounts. Hash rate, they are stuck at 913 petahash here for the last 3 months now. No growth there. So they didn't report on the hash rate either. Other than that, they've had pretty slow growth here over the year. You can see where they were at last year at 597. So, I mean, barely even a double here as far as hash rate is concerned. For them, monthly BTC revenue came down to 1.943 million compared to 2.1 million in May. That was a given. Nonetheless, it has been increasing here. If we take out May with the transaction fees, it might be a continuation of an uptrend here potentially. Bitcoin has gone up in value, so that's good there. Hash rate difference, you can see how much they added or decreased over the last 12 months. BTC sold value, that's estimated. I don't know if that's accurate because they don't provide the HODL position, so that we could keep track of it. I've gone over the quarterly results in the past before. I'm not going to get into that. But we are going to take a look at the institutions for them. So they had one increase in institutions. Shares stayed the same, it looks like. They're still at 8.24% owned by institutions, and we don't have any sell, buy, hold ratings or anything like that for them or a price target at all from any analysts right now. Okay. As far as their uptime for the month of June, it looks like they were operating for about 29.38 days in June, which was pretty good. So that's how we came up with the 1.943 million for them. Begin 913 petahash, and let's take a look up here. So based on their current value of $1.87, I think they're pretty well valued. I have them at P of 5 right now. We're looking at the last 3 quarters, which are accurate, which are provided to us by the quarterly results. Combined total, we're looking at about 19 million with the current quarter as an estimated one that we're in. Then we're taking the 50% net income, P of 5, because very little growth left on them, $1.67 to a 75% net income with a P of 5, also 250. So they're right in between that, $1.87. I think they're pretty well valued. If you go with the higher part of it here, they would be undervalued, but I think they're kind of well valued as it is right now. Okay. So that's it for Digihost. Let me know what you guys thought of that one. If any of you guys are invested in them or not. But yeah, that's it. Obviously, we want to see more growth from them going forward. Okay. Next is going to be DMG. DMG blockchain also provides their June updates, and here's what we have. Their update is also pretty small here. So they mined 53.2 Bitcoins with 0.71 exahash realized hash rate. DMG's Bitcoin balance as of April 30th was 509. So at least we have all the data here. We have how much they mined, what their hash rate is, and what they hodl. That's kind of one of the things that we really want to see from all the miners provide for us. Then there is some issue here. So Prime Trust. So in addition to the vast majority of DMG's digital assets being self-custodied, DMG does have a small portion of at Prime Trust, a qualified custodian in the state of Nevada. Recently, Prime Trust was issued a cease and desist order from the state of Nevada Department of Business and Industry, Financial Institutions Division, FID, and then subsequently was petitioned to be placed into receivership. Well, when they're placed into receivership, meaning that they're going to be taken over by the government, basically, and then possibly sold off to another party, possibly. Okay. Here's the concerning part. It's not too bad. DMG currently holds approximately 49 Bitcoin and 45 Ether, which it does not have access to while the FID investigates Prime Trust. 49, rounded up, you could say basically 50 Bitcoins times 30,000. You're looking at, what is that? 150,000? No, 1.5 million worth. So that's quite a bit, but still not the total amount that they have, which is good. The company does not have a timeline for access to those assets while the Nevada regulator is undertaking its investigation. When it does close, or when the investigation is over with, they should have access to those assets. And then as of June 30th, the company held 509 Bitcoin, and the inability to access its digital assets held at Prime Trust will have no effect on DMG's business operations nor plans. So that's good news there. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers that we do have here for them. Let's see here, DMG. So 167 million shares outstanding right now. Stock price is 26 cents. Market cap is 43 million. They are also at 917 petahash. Future hash rate is going to be 1.2 exahash roughly based on what they have reported as being purchased. So not a lot of growth left in them. Their stock performance has been, it's been all right. I mean, we're down 2% from, or almost 3% from 12 weeks ago, up 20% from 8 weeks ago, up 17.9% from 4 weeks ago, and then last week we were down 4.5% on them. So it's kind of mixed a little bit on them. BTC production, you can see here that they peaked in December of last year at 104, and then ever since then they have continued to go down. And as production, well, mainly because the network hash rate has increased and they haven't kept up with the installation of new miners for it. Okay, that's the reason for it. And you can see here the month-over-month differences as far as how much they're mining. BTC HODL has increased to 570 here in May, but it looks like they sold quite a bit here in June. They sold quite a bit here. BTC per exahash efficiency, you can see also has been coming down. BTC sold, so they sold about 114 here. Hash rate growth, and you can see here ever since December, they pretty much stalled at 917 petahash. And as a result, if we look up here, you can see the Bitcoin production has continued to fall down, okay? Their value of, as far as what their revenue is concerned, this is the revenue portion of it. You can see that it also peaked here, it looks like in April, at 2.124 million, and it's been coming back down. So that's not good to see here. They really need to grow like all miners do. Let's see your hash rate difference. You can see that Bitcoin sold value. So they sold about 3.17 million in June, which is quite a bit. It's the most they've sold in a while here. Quarterly data, you guys can take a look at that. I've covered that in when they report the quarterly results. Now looking down here, institutions. Institutions did decrease here to 6 institutions. Shares also decreased to 1.29 million from 1.41. Percentage owned went down to 0.77. We still have one strong buy rating, one buy rating, and a price target of 23 cents for the high, average, and low. They're at 26 cents right now. They're above that as it is. Okay. Looking at their numbers here for the miners, as far as what they did in June, it looks like they curtailed quite a bit here. They were at 23.55 days based on my numbers here, which is quite a bit of curtailing there to get to the 1.476 million, which matches up with the 1.476 million based on the 53.2 Bitcoins mined in June, okay? So based on all those numbers, we have pretty much the end of the quarter results, estimated results. We're looking at the current quarter being about 5.5 million, the last 4 quarters being at 14.8, combined total 20.4 million, 50% net income, we are at 10.2, PE of 5 because they don't have a lot of growth left. I'm looking at 30 cents to 46 cents, so they are slightly undervalued right now at 26 cents as it is. Okay, now if Bitcoin does start going up, and then this basically means for all these miners, Bitcoin goes up in value over the next 2 to 3, 4 quarters, whatever it might be. as long as the Bitcoin price increases more than the network hash rate percentage-wise, they should make more money each month, each quarter going forward. So that's all dependent on where Bitcoin ends up going. So that might be what saves them in the long run, is Bitcoin price going up in value. Okay, so that's kind of where we're having right now. Let me know what you guys think of them. And like I said, they just got to grow like all the miners do, unfortunately. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Next one is going to be on Core Scientific. Core Scientific is pretty quick as well. They announced their June production updates. Here's the update that we do have. Core Scientific self-mining operations produced 1,030 Bitcoin in June. As of the month end, the company operated approximately 144,000 Bitcoin miners, accounting for approximately 69% of its total number of miners and representing a total potential self-mining hash rate of 15 exahash. So they actually, based on my numbers, looks like they installed about 100 petahash of miners in June, it looks like. Okay, so let's take a look at Core Scientific here really quick. Core Scientific has 376 million shares outstanding right now, roughly. Market cap is about 320 million. Stock price is 85 cents. They have been on a tear as far as weekly performances go recently here. They're up 82% from 12 weeks. From 8 weeks, they're 135% up. 4 weeks, 136. 1 week, they're up 23% just in the last week alone, which is great. The only concern is obviously the BTC production. They peaked in January of this year at 1,527 Bitcoin. And then they've been slowly and steadily coming down here for two reasons. One is network hash rate has continued to increase. The other one is it looks like they've been selling some miners to possibly pay off some debt. That has contributed to a lower and lower exahash that they've had, other than a little bit of an increase they had here in June. Okay, so you can see that here. BTC HODL, they don't HODL anything right now. They pretty much sell everything to pay off debt and pay operations. BTC per exahash has come down. I had a pretty good month in May, but that was attributable to the network hash rate, to network transaction fees. But it's down to 68.63 here. Bitcoin sold, you can see that they've been selling everything. Hash rate, this is where I'm talking about hash rate. They peaked in January at 17 exahash, and after that, they've been coming down here to a low of 14.8 in April. And it looks like they've been adding about 100 petahash each month here, May and June, which is nice to see. It does help them out a little bit here. The revenue peaked also here, it looks like in May was their best month, 36.13 million. June is, well, quite a bit worse. It's almost, was it 8 million less? 28.59 million based on my numbers here. Hash rate difference, you can see how they were installing a lot here at the second half of 2022. And then first half of this year, they were kind of, or first quarter at least, they were down quite a bit in exahash here. BTC sold value, this is how much they've been selling each month, which is pretty much whatever they had in revenue. Last 4 quarters, we've talked about that in the past after they report their quarterly results. Institutions stayed pretty much the same here as they were. We only have now, the only thing that's changed here is the buy rating. We have 3 hold now, and the price target is still $1 for the high, average is 75, low is 50. Based on that, and here's what we installed for the month of June for them. It was basically 1,000 of these 100 petahash or 100 terahash miners, getting us 100 petahash additional to it. They did curtail quite a bit as well. They curtailed by about 2.25 days roughly in June to get us to 28.595 million in revenue, which is consistent with what we have here as far as the Bitcoin price, the average Bitcoin price in June. Okay. Let's see here. What else? Okay. So based on all of that information, they are currently at 85 cents on the market with a P of 10, and that's being pretty generous, I think. Main reason why is because they have so much exahash installed right now that if Bitcoin does go up in value, that is going to do really well for them. The other thing is, well, they're obviously in Chapter 11 bankruptcy right now. We'll see how they get out of it. But if they weren't in bankruptcy right now, this is kind of where I would gauge them at, between $4.65 and $6.97. Excuse me. It could possibly go down even lower to a 5 PE. So even at that point, it still would be undervalued at 85 cents compared to $2.32 and $3.49. Right? So I do think they're still undervalued. It is going to be interesting to see how they get out of this. We are expecting them to get out of this Chapter 11 bankruptcy within the next couple of months, possibly by the end of Q3, if not Q4. And then we'll see what's left for the shareholders as it is, how much dilution we're going to have at that point. Okay, it's also going to depend on where Bitcoin price is. If Bitcoin price is a lot higher, there's going to be a lot less dilution for the shareholders than if Bitcoin price is lower. Okay, let me know what you guys think of them. This is definitely a very speculative play there. Like I said, we don't know what the dilution is going to be. So it is high risk, high reward potential. We've seen them already be up from, well, they were down to 4 cents earlier this year. They're up to 85 cents. Was that like over 1,000% increase from where they started the year out, or at least bottomed out at the year. Okay. We'll see how they do. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it. Okay. Next is going to be on, let's see who's going to be next. I believe Cipher's going to be next. Okay. So Cipher's June production update is here. Key metrics, BTC mined was 360, power sales equivalent was 41 Bitcoins. Bitcoin sold, so they sold 350 Bitcoins, BTC held was 417. They have about 65,000 miners deployed, operating at 6.7 exahash. And with them, it's also kind of tricky because they do have like Bear facilities, some other facilities that are joint venture where they get 49% of that only, I believe, and that's being reported as assets instead of revenue. Okay, so that's always fun to track that. Let's see. The month of June featured challenging operating conditions. Texas experienced record high temperatures, weak wind production, and record demand for power as we entered into the critical 4CP summer months. And we have quite a few miners that are in that boat. Riot, Marathon should be in there as well. Whoever else is located in Texas right now. Okay. Let's see. Here's a quote. As we continue to expand our mining capacity, we aim to deliver operational excellence even in the hot Texas summer. Our team focuses on efficiency optimization of the portfolio, whether that is through a mix of rigs in use, underclocking our machines, or selling power back to the grid at most valuable times. We are also pleased to announce that we have taken delivery of 11,000 Canon rigs that were recently purchased. So that's good news there. And with the final build out of the infrastructure in the next few months, we are well on our track to deliver on our goal of 7.2 exahash by the end of Q3. So that would be the quarter that we're in right now, July, August, and September. So I believe they're at 6 something right now, or 5 something like that right now. And that is it. So let's take a look at Cipher numbers that I have for them. Let's see here. Cipher, where are they? There they are. Okay. Cipher has 248 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $3.48. Market cap, 866 million right now as it is. Their performance is, I mean, it's not bad. So they're down 1.7% from 12 weeks ago. From 8 weeks ago, they're up 36.2%. From 4 weeks ago, they're up 24.3%. Last week, they were down 1.38%. Okay. Current hash rate, 4.7. So they still have quite a bit of growth left in them. I was wrong on the 5. I thought they were up a little higher. Future hash rate, 7.3 roughly. They said 7.2, I believe, or something like that. They still have quite a bit of growth left in them, so that's good. Their Bitcoin hodl of 417 is valued at 12.8 million. BTC production has, May was the best month for them, 483 Bitcoin. Now they're down to 360 here in June, which would be somewhat in line with the downtrend in production based on network hash rate increases. Okay, month-over-month difference as far as how much they mined. So they mined 133 Bitcoins less than they did in May. In May, they mined 87 more than they did in April. BTC hodl peaked in February, 465, has come down in May to 407. They're back up to 417, so that's good. BTC per exahash efficiency, I got them at 63.1. BTC sold, they've been selling between 300 and, let's say, 500 Bitcoins here this past year. Hash rate also looks like it has decreased, right? Did they say 5.7? They did say 5.7, didn't they? Or 6.7. So that's total, and I'll explain this in a second. So their own is 5.7 right now, so that's come down here. They were at almost 6 exahash in April and May, and then you can see their revenue amounts here has nicely been growing this past year, or year to date at least. But we did have quite a big decline here to almost 10 million from 13.5 million, so that's quite a bit there. Hash rate difference, you can see how much we have removed from it. BTC sold value, how much they sold, last 4 quarters of revenue, and operating costs. We've covered that in the past when they provide their quarterly results. Going down here to institutions, we have one increase in institutions to 105 from 104. Shares also increased to 12.82 million from 17.8, which is good. Percentage owned went up to 5.15% from 5.13. We now have also 2 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperform, 0 sells. Price target stayed at $4 for the high. It went up to $3.60 for the average, and the low stayed the same at $3 right now as it is. Okay, so let me explain to you with their exahash how that's being calculated. So Odessa is their wholly owned facility that they have. That's kind of where I'm calculating that part of it. In Alvarez, Bear, and Chief, they're only getting 49% or 50%, something like that. It's pretty close to that, but it's not over 51%, so they have to report it as an asset instead of revenue. So that's how we're getting a total for them that they're actually mining on would be 6.7 exahash, it looks like, based on taking the half of this, adding it to that, and that's how we get it. Okay, so that's the number that we're getting for that. And the owned part is here. Yeah, 49% is what I'm calculating here. That's their total that they have, 6.7 if you combine Alvarez, Bear, and Chief in that, but their portion that they actually get is 5.7 exahash on it. Okay, based on that, going back up here, we can see that they are currently having a P of 20 because they do have quite a bit of growth left in them. We're looking at the current quarter being about 31 million, the last 3 quarters being 26.9 million, combined total being 58 million, 50% net income, we're looking at 29 million, P of 20. That way we're looking at $2.33 to $3.50 for the 75% net income with a P of 20. I think they're right now fairly valued, right at the very high end part of things, possibly being a little bit overvalued, depending on how you look at things. But we'll have to see how things progress forward. If Bitcoin goes up in value, like I said, for any of these miners, that's definitely going to change going forward for them as well. But right now, I think they're pretty fair valued as it is right now. Okay. Yeah. So let me know what you guys think of them. We'll obviously keep track of these guys, see how they do going forward. And let's get into the last one, I think, which is going to be on Stronghold. Okay. So Stronghold, I've covered them last year for quite a few months before they stopped providing production updates for, well, their monthly production updates. After that, they were put in my doghouse. They were there for pretty much a year now, it looks like, when I looked at the data that I had from 2022. I stopped tracking them right around July, I think it was. So that's kind of when they went into the doghouse. That's kind of when they went into trouble as well. Well, Bitcoin was going down in value, everything else. Everybody was freaking out at that time. Now, it looks like they're starting to provide possibly their monthly production updates. They're not the best updates compared to some of the other miners, but we do have something here. So, and also a lot of you guys requested where do I think they are, or where do they stand right now as far as being undervalued or overvalued. So we're going to get into that right now. So here's their Bitcoin mining. During the month of June, Stronghold was awarded approximately 225 Bitcoin through its mining operations, which when combined with April and May, Bitcoin production equates to over 626 Bitcoin mined during the second quarter of 2023. So that's kind of numbers that I'm using here for that. I'm using the 626 mined for the quarter, basically for June, May, and April. Trying to figure out what they possibly could have generated as far as revenue is concerned from that, and working our way backwards a little bit here. Okay. They are planning to get to about 4 exahash. That's their plan. What their capacity is, they have a bunch of machines and not data centers, but those data units, containers that they have available that they could also utilize those going forward to grow that even more. And yeah, let's take a look at the numbers that I have. I'll try and explain it as best I can for you guys here on Stronghold. Okay, let's see here. Stronghold, there it is. Okay, so like I said, I have absolutely no data on them because they weren't providing their production updates for the past year or so. Things that I was able to figure out was obviously how many shares they had outstanding currently, stock price $5.93, market cap at 314 million right now as it is. Their stock performance here as it looks, let me zoom this out, there we go, has been atrocious. So they're down 57% from 12 weeks ago. From 4 weeks ago, or 8 weeks ago, they're down 47%. From 4 weeks, they're down 4.6%, and then last week they were down 1.65%. Okay, so it's obviously been going south. We've looked at it here on the charts. Back over here, when we look at Stronghold, you can see that it's been obviously going down here. A lot of the miners basically bottomed out towards the beginning of January, end of December of last year, beginning of this year in January. They kind of bottomed out, and all of them have done pretty well going forward. However, Stronghold has not been the case here. It did peak a little bit here in April when it went up to almost $12, but ever since then, it's been falling down here. Okay, so that's kind of what we're dealing with here on them. And then looking at the numbers here, so I pulled in all the numbers that I could for last year as far as their own self-mining is concerned. And I came up with March, we know, was 11.29 million in revenue for self-mining. December was about 8.0. September quarter was about 20.2 based on numbers I could come up with, and this the 8.048 is based on the numbers from Q3, Q2, and Q1, which are those numbers right here, and subtracting that from the final results for the year from the 58 to getting that number for the Q4, okay? That's how I was able to get it. Then I also used the numbers that they provided here in this update, the 225 that was mined in June. And they reported they had 626 total that they mined over the quarter. I figured May was going to be a better month for them because of the transaction fees that were added on to the Bitcoin rewards. So I have that one at 211, and then April was at 190 roughly. I'm guessing exactly on this. This could be off by a little bit. But based on that, I came up with an estimated 17.53 million in revenue for them for the current quarter of Q2. And based on that information, if we plug all that information in to my little spreadsheet here, I have them at, well, last 3 quarters, which are accurate. Current quarter is about 17.5 million. Combined total, we're looking at 57 million. And then 50% net income, we're looking at 28 million with a P of 7. And that's being pretty generous there for them, I think. They're at possibly 3 exahash, I think. They were pretty close to that. Don't have the numbers exactly, like I said, because the data is just not there yet. But I'm between $3.77 and $5.66. They're currently at $5.93. I think they're overvalued. This should be overvalued, not undervalued, based on the numbers that I'm seeing here. But you could argue that they have electricity generation, everything else. So if we look at some of the numbers here from the latest quarter, which would be a Q1, March 31st ending, we can see here that cryptocurrency mining revenue was 11.297 million. Energy was 2.7 million compared to last year, which was 9 million. So, I mean, they made more last year than they did this year. Hosting was definitely way up here, 2.3 million, but how much are they actually getting? Well, still not too bad. 2.3 million for hosting isn't too bad. I'd like to see what the costs are on that, though. Capacity is 859,000, others 52. So total operating revenue was 17.2 million. Now, when we look at their fuel, that's 7.4 million. That's quite a bit. Their operation and maintenance, you're right now at 15.5 million combined. So even if you combine the energy, well, yeah, I mean, even if you, well, it's 17. We're at 15.8 million compared to 17.2 million. Then you include general and administrative, another 8.4. They're in the hole as it is right now. So obviously, energy is not creating a lot for them. Cryptocurrency is adding some to it, but not a significant amount either. It's definitely an increase from where it was last year, but it's still, depending on what the costs are on that, are they at least breaking even on it or having a small profit on it? Hard to tell. Okay. Well, let's take a look back here at the numbers. So based on what I'm seeing here, and like I said, P7 being pretty generous for them as it is, if we dial that down to even 5, you can see that I would have them at between $2.69 and $4.04, and currently they're at $5.93. Definitely overvalued in my opinion, as it is. And the reason that we might be having a little bit of a bounce here is, well, I think they kind of bottomed out, and some people might be just taking advantage of that, seeing that they bottomed out, and we've had a pretty good run here in Bitcoin with the ETF news, with BlackRock possibly getting into it, things like that. That's kind of pumping the stock up right now. But I mean, whatever was back here trading for a couple of weeks here, well, 2 weeks it looks like maybe, at $3.98, that would be more in line where I would see them being as fairly valued as it is. Okay, so let me know if you guys agree or disagree with that. Let me know if I'm missing something on them. Like I said, if they provide another operation update next month, I'll start filling in all this data as much as I can get from going back on press releases and things like that to see if we can get an even better picture or a clearer picture on where they are right now. Okay, so that is it. Like I said, sorry. This is going to be a lot of data as always. Takes a lot of time to go over all this stuff. And we also have Marathon to report. They reported theirs today, but it was late, so I didn't have a chance to update those. We'll have Marathon. We'll see if Riot also provides theirs tomorrow. We'll have more things coming. And what else was I going to say? Oh, as always, there's going to be subchapters or chapters down the bottom for you guys to skip between these things. I should have mentioned that in the beginning. And then also I'll do the clips for these as well, so you guys don't have to wait or don't have to view the whole video if you don't want to. You can watch only the sections that you're interested in, okay? So other than that, like I said, thank you in the beginning of the video for all the subscribers here. I appreciate it greatly. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, the spreadsheets are going to be available to my Patreon members, and then the dashboards, screenshots will be made available to the YouTube members as well. Okay, that's it. Before I ramble on anymore, hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.